Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2020 and welcome of course to episode 22 of the Neofly series. And for those of you with very keen eyes will notice that we're not at Maun. This is actually Vonneboom in Pretoria. So if you watched the previous episode, I had some issues with the Okavango Delta scenery loading in, and I've since then seen a statement from SimWorks Studios where they said they are aware of one of the updates breaking the Okavango Delta scenery and causing these really long load times for the different assets, and they are working on it. They've actually taken it off the store for the time being until they can fix it. So I decided I'm going to head back to South Africa because the whole point of that Botswana charter operation is to fly into those little airports that come with the Okavango scenery. So we're going to skip that for now and we'll head back there once that has all been sorted out. So I felt like doing some more helicopter stuff because that is kind of where this whole charter airline started, was with an R44, and then the majority of the flights that actually kicked off the career were in the Airbus H125 from Cowansim, which is what we're back in today. Not the exact same one. This is a new one that I bought here at Vonneboom, or in Pretoria, South Africa. And it is a beautiful morning, early morning here. As you can see, the sun is rising behind us. And I still think the H125 is one of the coolest looking helicopters. I don't know, it just looks really cool. And we're going to be taking, we've got a bunch of different flights around Pretoria and Joburg today. But our first flight takes us over to FNB Stadium, just other side Johannesburg. And this will be the first time I can actually showcase these VIP helicopter flights, because you need those like landmarks that were placed by Asobo. So I've got lots of third-party stuff that's been downloaded from flightsim.to for South Africa, but really the only one that we have here that comes with the sim is that FNB Stadium, and it uses those landmarks to do these special VIP flights. So this is about one of the few that we can do in South Africa. So we've got, I think it's 6 people going over to the stadium. We need to try and land as close to the stadium as possible. If I remember correctly, FNB has like a parking lot out in the front that we can probably land at to drop off these people, and then we'll come back either to here or possibly stop off at Rand to see if we can pick up some passengers from there. I'll see what things look like once we get there, but I think we can jump aboard now and get our H125 fired up, which is actually a very simple process. This is probably one of the easiest aircraft to start. I should probably just do our test, although I have actually switched the battery and avionics on, so that's all good. That's off. We can do the fire test. Right, and then we basically just make sure that this is in idle and then turn this on. The last thing we can do before we do that is just turn on the lights so that people know we are about to start up. For some reason, there's 2 taxi signs, taxiway markers that are floating up there, which is kind of interesting. Right, and then we just switch on, just make sure the rotor brake is off. We switch on the engine on button, well, the engine start switch. Battery temp, it's interesting. Is that because this is on? Oh, that's a different one. That's interesting. Hopefully that extinguishes once we start up. Right, we can now bring this up to the flight position. And while we're here, landing lights and taxi lights. It's actually the other way around, but both of them are now on. We'll just put this on alt. And this is already on. Don't know why we're having that Battery temperature warning. It's definitely not 100% happy because this should have all come up by now.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, fuel pump on seems to have fixed that. Now the engine's actually starting. Didn't actually realize we needed the fuel pump. Okay, battery temperature has gone up. I'm pretty sure last time I didn't switch the fuel pump on. Yeah, now it's gonna freak out because I've already pulled the throttle up. Yeah, this is going great. Okay, now we can switch the RPM horn on. Let's just set our altimeter with the shortcut. Neofly is happy for us to go. Right, so we're heading that way and we're going to stay fairly low, about 1,000 feet above the ground, and make our way over Pretoria, through Centurion, or past Centurion, Midrand, over Joburg. Well, yeah, will we go over Joburg CBD? No, I think we're going to be slightly west of Joburg CBD. Anyway, let's just see. There has been, I don't know if it was a Cowansim update or something that FlightSim did to the helicopter flight models or just the flight model in general, but recently the H125 has been way easier to fly than I found it initially. Right, I think we're good to go. So let's get power in. We're just going to keep to the left of this hangar in front of us. The runway is actually just other side that fence. And we're going to head out towards that gap in the mountains that you can see straight in front of us. I don't know if you can tell, but I find this helicopter way easier to control than it was before. Anyway, let's head out for FMB Stadium.
Excellent takeoff, pilot. The landing may be a little tricky, but you like a challenge, right?
It just handles so smoothly now. I'm super impressed. Alright, so we can keep nosing over and gently increasing power. We'll pick up our speed as we go. A nice, beautiful, clear morning here in Pretoria. There's the Pretoria CBD up ahead. Wonderboom Nature Reserve is just up there on the hill. There we can actually see the W. Right, we need to stay below, I think it's 6,500 feet. Maybe it's 6,000. we're well below both of those anyway. Let's check. Okay, below 6,500, so that's pretty chilled. We can give our VIP passengers a bit of a view of the Pretoria CBD. Some of those buildings have the flight sim melting effect on them. Telkom Tower, this is the UNISA building. And then up on that side we have the Voortrekker Monument, top of the hill. I'm basically just gonna stick to this highway all the way through here. That's the UNISA building. It is actually fairly common if you're driving along the highway to see helicopters going between Joburg and Pretoria, just kind of following the highway. So certainly not unrealistic what we're doing. And what are we at? About 300 feet? And 5,150, so we can increase our altitude slightly. Right, then we just need to keep an eye out for Grand Central's airspace. We've just flown between Waterkloof and Swartkorp's air bases. And next up along here is Grand Central. I think to stay out of there, we'll go on the other side of the highway. It's out there in that open patch. I think I might be able to just see the runway. Or is that something else? I think that might be something else. It could be. What a joy this helicopter is to fly. I'm just doing tiny little movements on the stick to keep us going in the right direction. Okay, no, that definitely wasn't Grand Central's runway. We're still coming up to that. And then just other side that, of course, is the ultimate heliport. If you've watched some of my H145 missions, I start and end a lot of those at Ultimate Heli. And that's easy to find because we just look for the big building on the other side, which I think is PwC, but it's, if you look for that in the Mall of Africa, then Ultimate Heli is literally just on the other side of the highway. Two random little clouds. Oh, there's a third one out there too. That's it. Right, there's Grand Central just there. There's the runway. Okay, that little tower, that's the one next to Mall of Africa. I think it's PwC. Okay, 5,500 feet, so we're still good. Obviously the elevation increases as we head towards Johannesburg. Ultimate heliport is just down there. So you might see some choppers on the ground there. There's one, there's two, three, 4, 5. Right, that next tall building is Sandton City, and then just 12 o'clock on the horizon is the Johannesburg CBD. We want to head a little bit to the right, so to the west of the CBD. We're not going to go straight over that. Right, so I'm going to pass Sandton here. Then, to the right of the CBD buildings, That is SABC and the Brixton Tower. So we're going to head towards that rather. There's another little cloud appeared. Cricket ground down there. That over there is Rand Airport. So I think that would be a good option to land at after we've dropped off these passengers. Just see if there's any passengers or cargo that need to head back to Vonneboom or even to Lanseria. It's another option. Grand Central. There's F&B Stadium just in the distance. Okay, 6,000 feet now. Okay, as long as we stay below 6.5, we're still out of that special rules airspace. That's SABC over there. This is all... These fields here, I think, is part of it. Then we just got to find somewhere to land. I mean, I guess technically we could land inside the stadium. But I think on a chilled flight like this, that's a bit unnecessary. Yes, they do that for like emergency kind of evacuations or whatever, like if a player gets injured or something. I don't know if we were just bringing guests in. I probably wouldn't land it inside the stadium. But I need to see. I think there's a parking lot on the other side. Yeah, there's quite a bit of open space. There's some open space there, which looks like a parking. Okay, that's got a building that's not flat. Oh, there's plenty of flat space out here. There are these fields. Really wasn't that bad. Relax. Are they gonna freak out again? I wonder if that was Neofly or if it was FS Realistic. I think that was Neofly. So there's quite a nice place in that little open patch with the trees around it. Otherwise, that's not paved and it's technically outside the property. This parking lot, is this a parking lot? It looks like more like a bit of construction going on there. That's probably the best bet. And these are all just kind of fields which they probably use for parking when there's a big event on. You can see there's cars parked here in this field. And then there's 2 more fields here. I reckon we do that paved area on the other side. There's another big parking that's got like buses or trucks in it. Okay, so I reckon we do that one on the other side. What I might just do is turn this way so that they can not walk towards the tail of the aircraft when heading towards the stadium, because I'm not going to shut down completely. Right, that should work.
Nice landing. Close enough. Set your parking brake on.
Don't have a parking brake?
Goodbye.
Sounds like they're getting off.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Was a nice trip.
The VIPs have left the aircraft. They were impressed. You should probably make your way to an airport now.
Oh, that's gonna be this guy. Okay, so VIPs are happy. What's this little airport here? FATA, is that Tetterfield? Let's have a look. I wonder if I could just do this. Nearest, I don't have that option here, but I will have it here. It doesn't tell me. Yeah, it is Tetterfield. I think we should do that. Go to Tetterfield, see if there's anything to pick up from there. Back to one of the airports we want to head to. Otherwise, Rand is behind us. Okay, let's head to Tetterfield. We are clear. So it's just off our left-hand side. Right. That was a pretty chilled flight out to F&B Stadium. Let's go and see what we can find at Tetterfield. Since the Neofly passengers all said they were happy, maybe that was an FS Realistic screaming thing. going to be a pretty short flight. Directly ahead of us, and we're coming in 90 degrees to the runway, it seems. Probably just over this ridge then. A little bit further. There's another little airport to the left as well. Okay, 6,000 feet, so we're still good. So we're pretty close. Is it these little hangars here in front of us? I think it's the runway is just a grass strip, if I remember Tetterfield correctly. But I think it's other side this patch. Oh, it's just those buildings over there. Otherwise, it's other side that kind of dense cluster of buildings. Okay, it's not this. I think it's those big buildings up there are the hangars. I know there's a bunch of hangars at Tetterfield. So we go over this cluster, and then those are the hangars next to the runway. Cool. I think those are the hangars indeed. So we just need to find somewhere to land. There's a little kind of apron type thing in the middle there, where those vehicles are driving around. It's the fuel truck. This is obviously the fueling point. Which means if we do land here, Flight Sim is going to bring up the fueling menu, which is fine. We can just close it. Which is better than what it used to do in FSX. That would just top your fuel up to 100%. And if you were flying with third-party systems that track your flight, something like Neofly or FS Economy, that would cause big issues. Obviously, Neofly didn't exist for FSX, but FS Economy was a big one where you'd get to the end of your flight. If you happen to park by the fueling bay, it would just top your aircraft up to 100% fuel automatically.
You greased that landing, Ace.
Right, so I'm going to put this into idle for a bit.
Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut
And
down
then
the engine.
I'm just going to check Neofly to see if there are any jobs. In fact, we might be able to do that from here. Okay, so I've had to obviously shut down the helicopter to check for jobs. 350 pounds of fuel sounds like quite a lot. Airport fees. Okay, I need this to go away so I can access this. Not entirely sure how we ended up getting 11k for that job because it said 8 grand. So here's the F&B Stadium. So we have more VIP helicopter passengers. We also have some tourist passengers who apparently want to take pictures of it. What pays more? So there's one VIP passenger, 3,000. One, it's way less for the touristy passengers. Okay. And obviously that doesn't make any sense because the VIPs, we fly there and drop off. The tourist passengers will have to fly around so they can take pictures and bring them back. So that should cost a little bit more, but obviously I guess it's VIP. So, okay. What we do need to do though is top up on fuel. We'll just go to about 50%. How do I accept that? There. Cool. Okay, let's go back and see. We've got some search and rescue stuff. Why did everything just disappear? Oh wow, that's awkward. All the jobs are done. To be fair, there was an update for Sky for some, and I didn't do it because I just wanted to get in and record the video. I wonder if it's because I picked up fuel and now I'm too heavy. There's no way to get... Everything was showing up fine. Huh, okay. So the fuel worked. Let's see. Okay, no, it still shows us stuff. So we have a bunch of VIP and photograph trips out to the stadium. We've got a fire zone. 10 grand. This one's only 2 grand. It's super close. 10 grand, which takes us back out towards Pretoria. Right, now the last time I tried a fire mission, it didn't work. I can't remember what happened. But this looks great because we can get water from Hartbeespoort and it's right there. And then we can head straight back to Wonderboom, which is just there. So I think we're going to accept that. Oh, right. Forgot about that. No. So this isn't a firefighting helicopter, unfortunately. Okay, so that throws us all of those plans out. Let me actually see. Hang on. Is it going to give me a brand new helicopter if I say yes. So if I accept this, what happens? Okay, it's given me a 146 firefighter. Okay, no, that is not what I wanted to do. So how do I get rid of this now? Okay, let me just put my pilot back here. Okay, so cancel that. We're back in our 125. There's a search and rescue mission out here towards Carltonville. This one is kind of out back towards where we're going in Attridgeville. So I think we're going to take that one. It's 11 grand. It's also the best paying. Search and this isn't a search and rescue. It's called a landing zone, I think. Oh, emergency. Landing zone means we just have to land at the right place. So these are search and rescue. Cool. This is just, we already know where the person is. Go and pick them up, and it's probably like a plane crash or something.
Mayday! 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 An aircraft has made an
There you go.
unscheduled landing. Bring the doctor to the crash site.
Right, let's just check this. We've got fuel on board. We've got the right payload, so we're good to go. That's in idle.
Hello, pilot. I'm the medic. Let's go.
All right, so we're actually not rescuing anyone. We're just taking
Pilot,
a doctor
the medic is on board. Let's go.
to the crash site of
You're good to go.
an aircraft, it
Contact
seems.
the tower for clearance.
I have done this before. We did this in Durban in the 222. So it's been quite a while since we've done one of these. Didn't I do another one? I did another one in the 222 around Hoedspruit. No, it wasn't Hoedspruit. It was also in Durban. The first one was Pietermaritzburg. Then I did another one from Durban where we landed like on a road. I shouldn't really do that. Maybe it's my fault. Okay, horn could come on. Right, so now we don't want to waste time. We're once again going to stay at around 6,000 feet. Everything looks good. Can I flick it around here to the left? Yeah, I think I can do that. Actually, no, I'm going to flick it to the right so we don't put our tail into that by mistake. Right, here we go. Let's go and drop off our doctor. Cool, keep an eye on that fuel pump obstacle. And we
Fly
can
safe
head out.
and watch the pylons.
Thank you for that advice. Yeah, that sun is rough. Not exactly VFR, technically, because I can't see anything in front of us. Right, so obviously this isn't in the GPS, and I don't have the map from Neofly open. I think I could open the Sky4Sim tablet, but I don't really need it because I know where Attridgeville is, and I'm expecting a plane crash to be fairly easy to see from the air once we get to the Attridgeville area. So we're basically, I mean, we flew over Attridgeville coming out, so we're basically just heading back the way we came to Johannesburg. We can pick up some more speed here, actually. Oh, by the way, I did check when I was looking at the jobs. It was Neofly that got freaked out by my apparently bank angle that was too steep. So I need to remember that for future VIP jobs, is you can't do much of a banked turn with the VIPs on board, or they spill their champagne and get very upset. Right, that sun looks a bit strange. I'm flying with active sky. It's put in like that haze, which I guess actually in the morning around Johannesburg and Pretoria, it is pretty standard to have that kind of haze. Well, I don't know if it looks like that kind of blurry, but anyway. Right, we're basically top speed, 150, 140, just under 140 knots. We can add in a little bit more collective. So we'll pick it up to about 140 knots. And I'm coming up to 6,500 feet. So we want to make sure we stay below that so we don't have to do the whole special rules thing. There's FMB Stadium where we landed at just now. So 6.4 is pretty chilled. And we're about, what, 800 feet AGL? 600, yeah, that's about 800. Wow, that haze is crazy on that side. Is it just me, or is it more hazy than when we took off? Or is it just because we're flying towards the sun now we can see it all? Because I'm not talking about that. In fact, if you look out there, I don't remember seeing that like atmospheric haze on the way out. But maybe it's just because we're flying towards the sun now. Okay, this is the SABC building. We just need to be a bit careful other-sided because there's a hospital there which often has helicopters flying in and out of it. I don't actually know which hospital it is. Down there, they actually land in the parking lot. There you can actually see the little helipad. The sun is pretty rough. You can just make out the Santon buildings. Actually need to head a little bit more to the left. No, not left, right. But keeping just to the left of Santon. Wow, but I mean, you really can see nothing in that direction. Very pretty. Not great for... Oh, I need to check my altitude. Oh, cool. It's just because the terrain is dropping off. I was like, oh, geez, we're going to be at like 7,000 feet. And inside the special rules airspace, but we're fine. We're at about 6,000. And roughly 1,000 AGL, so probably stay at about 6,000 as we go along. Okay, if we look at the GPS, that is Grand Central, that purple dot over there. So if we stick to this side, we're pretty much dead on. We'll make a slight left-hand turn once we pass there. Lanceria is out to our left in that direction. We won't see it from here, but we're out of their airspace at this altitude. And then Attridgeville is going to be an ever so slight left once we pass Grand Central. Now I guess what I actually want to do, because of the sun, is keep to the right-hand side of Attridgeville so we can spot the plane crash looking this way. Because if we're looking that way to try and find it, we're going to struggle. So that's my plan. Because knowing Neofly, there'll probably be some smoke that we can spot. The two random clouds. I feel like they've moved. They were further out that way earlier, I think. The reason why I know where Attridgeville is it's part of that special rules route between Joburg and Pretoria. And in fact, inside Attridgeville, or very close to it, is that danger area. This is Kyalami racetrack we're just flying right over now. But if you see that little danger area, oh, I thought that's what that was. It's not. That's actually an airport. But that is basically where Attridgeville is. So we are heading in the right direction. Like I said, it's slightly off to the left, but that's fine. I swear this haze is getting worse. That's actually Lanceria out there, I think. That's what it looks like. Okay, so we're getting close. When we cross over the next highway, which is either the N14 or the R55. I don't actually know which is which, but it doesn't matter. Once we cross over it, that's basically when we need to start looking. And again, I'm just keeping to the right as much as possible so we can look to the left to find the crash site. The next VRP is that interchange, which is going to be off to our right hand side. That's the interchange. Cool. So, not too far up ahead is Attridgeville. I'm going to start backing off the collective so we can descend without going too fast. Okay, just other side of the river, that is pretty much all part of Atteridgeville, I think. But this is the area. So I'm going to start slowing us down. And we start searching for this plane crash. On the map, I think, is that smoke out that way? I think it is. Or is it just a shadow on the mountain behind it? That looks like smoke. I think that's smoke. Quite far outside Atteridgeville, actually. Okay, smoke says the wind is blowing slightly to our right.
Transporter from dispatch. You are less than 3 miles from the drop zone. Find a place to land.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to drop her off yet. It's miles away. Literally. Right, if it's in this forest, that's going to make things challenging. There are some open patches. There's two really nice ones straight in front of us, but it might be a little far. So far, those two look like the best bet. What is that blue thing? Looks like a pool. Okay, that's an even better option. It is a pool and 2 tennis courts. That's where we're going to land, next to the tennis court. We're going to come from the other side, though, into the wind. And that'll also have the sun behind us, which will make life easier. Does mean that we can't see the tree line for our tail rotor. Just got to be careful of that. So I think I'll go with my nose right up to that dirt road so that I know I've got enough space behind me so I don't put tail rotor into the trees. Like so. is a little bit of a slow. Oh, just dropped quite dramatically there. That wasn't great.
You did it. Nice. Secure the aircraft with the parking brake.
I can't do that. So what I can do is just jump into Neofly and push the action button.
On the way to the crash site.
Cool. She's out.
Transporter from dispatch. Good job, pilot. You can land where you want.
Cool. So we can then head back to Vonneborn. Right, let's try and do a little bit better of a takeoff than I did on the landing. We just kind of swing it around here. We can pretty much just follow this ridge line because that takes us all the way to Vonneborn. That sun is really nasty. Basically have to head straight into the sun. That's where Vonneborn is. Wow, that's horrible. Okay, just over, so we're 5,200 feet, so we're good. I just need to be careful of this ridge here because we can't really see very well to the right. And this goes all the way down past the other side of the airport. So if we get onto the other side of this, we can kind of just follow it and we'll see the airport as we go. There's a little airstrip down here on the other side, it seems. Now we're going to have to fly straight into the sun. Right, keep that to our right and we'll be good. This highway is also a good indicator because it goes straight past the other side of the airport. So the airport's in between that ridge and that highway. And we'd probably already be able to see it if it wasn't for the sun. And this crosses over just before it, so we're pretty close now. There's the gap in the ridge that we flew over this morning when we were leaving. See the terminals up ahead. Start slowing down. I say terminals, it's probably just hangars. I actually want to come around this way so we can get a look at the windsock. Oh, there's one helipad out this side. Okay, wind is very calm. And coming from behind us. Okay. Alright, I reckon we'll just go back to the one we started at this morning, which was this middle one.
Touchdown.
Okay, there we go. So,
Contact ground for your parking assignment, then
total,
shut down your engine.
that was just over an hour. So I reckon we can do a couple more jobs. Maybe one more job out and then back again. Will probably work out. Let's see if Skyfall Sim is still broken. Right. So again, we're just going to have to shut down.
Great work out there today. Another life has been saved thanks to you.
Yeah, these are fine.
Ready for engine start.
Advertising flight. I've never actually done one of those. 1365, 1365, they're the same. This must be another rescue. Although I don't get any information when I mouse over it. So maybe that's not actually a... That kind of looks like where we just came from. Okay, fire out there, which isn't going to work. But now the advertising flights, I thought you had to use the Cessna 152 for those. Let's see what happens if we take that. Okay, I was right. So can I get rid of this from here? I don't think so. Oh wow, it actually gives you some extra info. Except it doesn't seem that I can delete this. Okay, let me just jump into the app then. Sort that out. I thought you could only do it with the Asobo. I mean the Neofly's version of the 152.
Transporter from dispatch. Mayday! 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 We have an urgent search and rescue mission. Rush to your aircraft. Pilot, we have locked onto the distress signal. Fly to the last coordinates we have and see if you can find them.
Okay, so as you may have heard there, we have a search and rescue. Oh, see, yeah, this I can delete. So maybe it's just because we were in the wrong aircraft. So we have a search and rescue job. That's going to take us to the kind of northeast. Other side, Shoshangube. And for this, I'm going to need the map. So this tells me the target, but doesn't show the plane. But if we just go back here... This doesn't display the Neofly job, does it? Oh, that's cool. We get the action button in here. And it does show the Neofly. Okay, there's no like line, but it shows the job there. Sick. So we can actually just keep this open. Maybe I should do something like put this down here where it interferes a little bit less with my view. And we basically just need to get the engine up and running and head out towards that.
You're good to go. Contact the tower for
What happens if I
clearance.
do this? It just closes. Okay, so that is kind of cool. Oh yeah, it doesn't detect the beacon and strobe lights in this aircraft particularly well because they're one thing. Right, let's go into flight. Let's see, can I turn this up slow enough that it doesn't over torque? Or it's actually not over torque, it's the RPM that goes over the limit. Okay, so that's better. So I need to go very slowly. Right, that's done. RPM's up so we can turn the horn on. Right, it's always good just before a search and rescue mission to be learning how to throttle up the aircraft without breaking it. Okay, all looks good around us, and we're actually just going to head straight out in that direction. We can probably stick to that road. Stay on the road there for most of the flight. Right, here we go.
Pilot from dispatch. Fly safe.
So we're going into the sun here. Right, it's actually more that way. There's a helipad out there. Oh, that'll be for training. It's quite a bit of training done here at Wonoboom, from what I understand. That car is floating above the road. Interesting. Okay, again, no specific altitude that we have to fly at. We're just gonna cruise along. We need to kind of make our best speed here. Active Sky downloading new weather with a bit less, a little bit of that sun glare, but a little bit less. Right, we should pick up this road shortly. There it is there. Okay, so this is a search and rescue as opposed to an emergency like we just did with the plane crash. So this will be someone on the ground that we need to locate and actually pick them up. In fact, you don't have to pick them up. We just need to give the location back to our dispatch. But we can, if possible, land and actually bring them out ourselves. Which, in a helicopter, is what we're gonna do. Unless it's really impossible to land at the point that they're at. It looked like either just farmland or maybe like a game reserve or something. There were less buildings than we're having out here where we are now, so there should be plenty of space to touch down close enough, collect the person, and then fly back to Wonoboom. Right, so the buildings that you can see up ahead, that is Shoshongube, I believe. we don't need to follow this road exactly. Where was that road? It should be just off that side. There it is there. Okay, so we're still good. So what would be pretty easy is to just head somewhere here if we keep that road on our right hand side until we hit this road, and then we can follow that to the point. Obviously this is a search and rescue, so that isn't the exact position of where the person is, but once we get closer we'll get that little locator beacon beeping sound. When you're facing in the right direction and getting closer, it starts beeping faster, if I remember correctly. Probably got just enough fuel on board. So I think this is the kind of terrain that we can expect. Not that big crater, which is interesting, but this kind of stuff is what I'm expecting in the search and rescue area. Okay, about as fast as we can go, 143 knots, let's say. So, I mean, this aircraft actually cruises pretty quickly. So, if you think for the 145, I think it's slower. The 160, I think we get up to about 160 knots in that. And the 145, I think it's more like 130. This might actually be faster. Obviously, the 145 has a whole bunch of other things. It can carry more, it's bigger, it's got 2 engines. Yeah, we're cruising surprisingly quickly. And slowly losing altitude as well, because the terrain does so naturally. need to keep moving right a bit. We possibly have a bit of wind that's pushing us to the left. Yeah, so look at this. This is all kind of just...
Transporter, you are now entering the search zone. Use the beacon signal to locate any survivors.
Right, there's the beacon signal. It's getting faster. Yeah, I think this is all just farmland or even just open land here, maybe with some game farms and stuff like that on it. Oh, there, I can see the orange smoke. Right, so we can ditch this now. Okay, at least it's nice and flat out here. It seems pretty open. There are a couple of buildings.
Transporter.
Okay, we need to come from other side of the smoke.
If there is somewhere suitable, please land to help the evacuation.
We can probably just put it down this side of the building. Is that a helicopter crash? Yes, it is. Oh, wow, okay. So we'll put it down just this side of the building in front of the trees. Want to just be careful not to go straight into the smoke, because then it'll be difficult to see what's going on. I reckon we do this. What helicopter is that? I guess at the moment the best answer is the yellow one. It looks a bit like a Huey, but it's got 4 blades. So that would be... what was that aircraft? 4 something. The 430 was the upgrade, or not necessary upgrade, but a 222 with 4 blades. What was the Huey with 4 blades? 4 something. Okay. Put it down here and we can rescue them.
That was close. Wait here until the evacuees are safely on board.
I love how it's just like a ramp worker. One of the marshals or whatever. That's cool. I haven't seen the crashed helicopter before, so something new for the series. I'm just waiting. I don't have to do anything, do I? Because I thought something would have happened by now. Set parking brake or landing light. Aha. Okay. I just want to see if that person disappears.
Thank you, pilot. I'm so grateful.
Okay. They did not disappear. that the only survivor? No one has said anything. The list hasn't updated. Wait for survivors boarding and then take off. Well, I think they're done. Landing lights on. Let's do this nice and slowly. So that we don't over RPM. We can close this then. And to make my life easier, let's just do I can't do like where I am right now. So, let's just do this then. What am I doing? FAWE. Activate. Cool. Let's get out of here. They're staying there. We're going to go into the wind out that way between the two buildings over these bushes. And then left turn out towards the airport. Okay, everything looks good. Right, what does our GPS say in terms of time? It doesn't. But it's 6 degrees outside apparently. 6 degrees. This GPS doesn't follow that one, so we'd have to enter it separately if we wanted an ETA. That's pretty chilled. Not too far. I know I can change the menus, but then I have to let go of the controls. Okay, cruising along nice and quick. We're just under 150. Let's head back to Vonneborn. Then I think that is it for this Neofly episode. Yeah, we've done a couple of helicopter jobs around Johannesburg and Pretoria. Oh, this is the big crater. I wonder what this is. Like, is it a natural crater, or was this Or was this some sort of like mining activity? Don't actually know. Looks like it could be some sort of mining activity. Right, we should probably be heading in the correct direction. That would make things a lot easier. This is the Soutpanspreek River. Okay, let's see if I can get this right from here. I can't really read the letters. Yeah, there's W. What a worm. 5 minutes. Cool. Right, not too far now, just over 3.5 minutes. I can see, I think it's these hills here that are just this side of the airport. So we'll go through that gap and then into our same little helipad. The only kind of unfortunate thing for the Neofly business is this doesn't actually bring in that much money. Because if I know, been flying for about 2 hours, and on average these jobs are like, let's say 10 grand, because they pay, they're listed mostly as about 8K. And then with the bonuses on top of that, you normally end around just over 10. So what have we done? We did one to the stadium, one search and rescue back to Attridgeville, drop off the doctor in Attridgeville, and now this search and rescue. We'll see how much this brings in, but we're probably, let's say, with a good payment, you're looking at about 40 grand for your 2 hours flight. Whereas if I take the A300 and I do a 2 hour flight, I can bring in like $500,000. So big difference. But flying the helicopters is also really interesting. And it does kind of make sense. I mean, geez, we could probably fit a few of these helicopters in the A300, so it's carrying a lot more stuff. But my point is, if you're going to fly for fun, don't worry about the money in things like Neofly and FS Economy. Just fly the jobs that you want to fly. And then if you just keep doing it, the money ends up coming. The people that give up are the ones who chase the money, and you just keep flying the same jobs over and over because they pay the most. And you get bored doing that. So quite happy to do some chopper flights for a little bit less money, but we get to do something interesting. And we will fly the A300, obviously, and do those, but not all the time. Right, there is the airport, just other side this ridge, so we'll come here through the gap and basically down the runway and into our little helicopter area. I'm gonna be too fast here. Maybe I can make this work. Yeah, we might actually be okay. I have to just side slip it into R1 a little bit because we're going to overshoot ever so slightly. Whoa, don't put the tail into the fence. Okay, that's why it's important to do a stable approach. Because when you get all the controls, or when you're late on everything like that, not prepared for it to swing around when you add in all the collective, to stop it hitting the ground after you finally slow down. So don't do helicopter approaches like that. Right, there we are. Let's put her down here. Probably move to the right a little bit. Yeah. It just doesn't want to move to the right. So we'll set it down just where it is.
You greased that landing. Ace.
Right, and then we can shut down because we are done for today in the 125.
Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
We'll turn off taxi, landing lights. We can turn off the pitot heat. If I turn on the fuel pump, does the engine shut down? It does actually. Oh no, that's just this horn. It doesn't. So maybe fuel pump on for start, and then it doesn't have to stay on the entire time. So I'm pretty sure I remember running the aircraft without the fuel pump before. Okay.
Thanks again, pilot. I owe you my life.
Generator, avionics. Right, another successful job for Neofly.
You showed skill and nerve out there. Amazing job. Let's go.
Okay, we can use the rotor brake now. Just to get those rotors to stop turning, and then we can turn off the lights and battery. Cool, lights can come off. Battery off. We'll just put that back. And there we are, back where we started this morning. Obviously things look a little bit different. The sun is now well and truly risen. But that was cool. I enjoy flying the helicopters around, doing some different missions. I haven't seen the crashed helicopter before, so that was a cool search and rescue mission. I've seen the plane crash before, but so that was fun, and made a little bit of cash for the business. I'll see. We're probably going to do, because we've kind of put the Botswana operations on hold, probably do some operations in this area for the next couple of episodes, and then maybe, well, definitely at some point, some longer flights, getting some stuff out to Kruger, maybe some flights down to Cape Town or something like that, but we'll see what the next episode has in store when we get there. Otherwise, this is going to bring us to the end of this video. As always, if you did make it all the way to this point, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you did enjoy it and want to keep up with the series, you know what to do down below, and I'll see you in the next one.